meditation isn't a magic pill. It doesn't fix everything overnight. But if we put it into practice, it is slowly, incrementally what it does. Because the problem with meditation is it will shine a torch. It will shine light on areas of your life that are out of balance. And it's actually, why don't we just be happy now? And that's what meditation teaches us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm your host, Leah Dunlap, and this is Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help women entrepreneurs and founders to find inspiration, hopefully some tips or tricks about how their journey can be improved as they lean into living a limitless life of purpose and prosperity. Today, I have a very special guest. In fact, I'm so excited. Barron, you're the first gentleman who has joined our show. I know we talked about that. But Barron Hanson is a Vedic meditation teacher, speaker, and transformative experience designer. I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but he's a multifaceted creative and meditation teacher who is slowly mastering the art of living. As a Vedic Meditation Initiator, he brings people together to design transformative experiences and teach the profound practice of meditation. Now, of course, for all of you who are listening, we are very beautiful, amazing women. We're very forward-thinking. We're obviously out there building and creating amazing things in the world. And oftentimes, as many of my clients profess, they don't do the best at taking care of themselves. And if they do, it's kind of a last-minute thing, or it's something they squeeze in. So I'm excited for this conversation because Barron and I have already talked behind the scenes about why that might be an issue and how he helps people look at that. But before we dive into that, Barron, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey from your corporate life to now working as a Vedic meditation teacher?
Yeah, thank you, Leah. And it is such an honor to lead the men onto your podcast. And I hope to come across as an ally and a friend and hopefully inspire other men to be brave enough to come on the podcast.
I love it. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Yes.
So my journey, I grew up in a small regional town in Australia. And like a lot of people who grew up in regional towns, the first thing they want to do is they want to get out. And that was my experience. I had a pretty bad attitude towards my town and there wasn't a lot of opportunity for work and things like that. So I ended up traveling around the world. I came back and did university in Australia, but I was still chasing. And I always wanted more and the next best thing and the next best thing. And that led me to moving to Sydney. And then I moved to New York and same thing. I was like, this town's too small. Sydney's too small. I need to go somewhere. Where's the next big place? And so I ended up in New York City and I co-founded a company, a creative studio with some other Australians called Convicts. And for about 8 years, we made documentary films. So short form content that built up into long form content eventually as we progressed. But as many of your listeners will know, when you're founding your own company, and for anyone who's been to New York, it takes a lot of energy. It was high paced. We were working as hard as we could because as a founder, if every minute that you put in is something that you can get out. And so it's like, there's a real pressure there to keep working. Yeah. And I was partying and drinking a lot of alcohol and having a lot of late nights as you do in New York City as a 25-year-old. And I was getting really burnt out and really fatigued. And so in that journey, I came across meditation as a way of balancing my life with the hard work. And I was also running ultra marathons at the time as well. So there was a lot.
Everybody's like, what? 25. We're just going to say you were 25. So thank you for acknowledging that. But that's incredible.
You can do lots of things when you're 25, but by the time I was in my early 30s, that was not sustainable. And meditation was really that thing that helped to ground me, to bring me that inner clarity, to release fatigue that had been accumulating. And it became so profound in my life that I wanted to share it. And so that's what I do now, is I share meditation as a way of helping people avoid burnout.
I love that. So I often talk about this on the show and also with my clients, there's always this moment, I think, for all of us when we make a shift or make almost like a pivot or a change in our life. We're just before that moment. We're kind of knocked on by the universe, tapping our shoulder, or sometimes really, kind of hitting us with a 2x4 in the face. It was like, this is it, time to make a change. Do you remember or recall for yourself what that was like for you?
Yeah, I do actually. So my business partner, he was a meditator. He learned when he was at Berkeley, and he one day, I think this was more than once, but I remember the days pretty clearly. I was hungover. I was sleeping under my desk at lunchtime, and I remember him
Oh
just
my
kicking me
gosh.
under the table and being like, "Mate, I think you need to learn to meditate." And that was, I think the next day I went out and I did a course in meditation the next day, and then I've never missed a day of meditation since. The hangovers didn't go away straight away. I didn't go cold turkey and sober, but what happened is just slowly over time, I started to drink a little bit less. I started to focus on my sleep, focus on my health, and incrementally over years and years, that all became my main focus. And I haven't really drunk much in the last
Mm.
couple of years. So it's great.
What if you could tap into the law of attraction with precision and power on your terms? I'm Leah Dunlap, and in my audiobook, Power Up the Law of Attraction, I give you the no-fluff blueprint to create a life of purpose, prosperity, and peace. Ready to stop manifesting by accident and start creating with intention? Download Power Up the Law of Attraction now on Audible. Now, back to the show.
I think that's an important thought too. Like sometimes we feel as if we don't just do it all right then, like again, I think it's because a lot of the women we're talking to, they are type A, like they're very attuned to like success and achievement. And it can be kind of daunting. If we don't do it all at once, then we're somehow failing at this. I love that you're saying for you, it was like, yeah, there was a wake up call moment and then it took the time it took. And sometimes I think it does take us longer to get into practice of something before we really feel like we own it. Do you think that's true of meditation in general? Like so many people like, well, I can't meditate. I just can't sit still. But do you think that speaks to that? Like the idea that we have to kind of return to it over and over again before it really is our own?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, meditation is a practice and it takes some time. And I think in this world with type A people, and I can speak for one of those people, is that we expect everything to come straight away to us. And meditation isn't a magic pill. It doesn't fix everything overnight. But if we put it into practice, it is slowly, incrementally what it does. And what I say to people is that if you don't want change in your life, don't learn meditation, because the problem with meditation is it will shine a torch, it will shine light on areas of your life that are out of balance, and it will bring them back into balance. But if you don't want change, then don't do this practice, because I see a lot of students, it's a big catalyst for change. You start to realize, I've got indulging in too much toxic substances, or these people around me are toxic, or this environment is toxic, or this workplace is toxic. And we start to tap into our body's innate healing, which is kind of like a side effect of meditation. Yeah.
Right. That's such an important piece too, to recognize for all of us that, that none of this, like even with the people that work with me as an intuitive guide, it's like, I can deliver a message for you. I can give you the very exact specific thing that needs to be shifted or done. But ultimately, the work has to be done by the person, and there's always our own work to be done. So I love that that's something you embrace and share, because oftentimes we were just talking before we got on, in certain work environments. And even if you're a founder who's like, I want the environment that my clients or my people are working in to be holistic and healthy. And so we were just talking before we got on about like this idea, like, well, how do we put those pieces in? And I know you just had a piece that you shared on LinkedIn about like your thoughts. So tell us a little bit more about like, what do you think about those places where people are just like, oh yeah, we're just going to call somebody in once a month and they'll do whatever I love how you said, I think you said, and do what you do, like just do what you do and fix everybody so they can go back to work and say, yeah, this is an environment, a company is committed to wellness and things like that. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The piece that I wrote on LinkedIn, it was basically, it started off with saying your Wellbeing program is broken. And I think because of the underlying piece of a lot of these Wellbeing programs, because I'm invited a lot to come into workplaces, into offices, into schools, and they want to cram in my meditation thingy into their lunch break while
Yes.
people are chowing down on their sandwiches and checking their iPhone watches as more emails pile up. And it's not enjoyable for me. And I know that people don't get anything out of it. And what I was saying in that piece is that fundamentally, if your wellbeing program is built on trying to make more profit, or if my team are happy, then they're going to work better, then it's still part of this
Right.
thing that we call object referral happiness. And it's this lie that says that the accumulation of things will make me more happy. And it goes for objects, it goes for accolades, it goes for awards, it goes for sexual partners, it goes for social status, all of these things that we know that bring us temporary happiness, but they're not actually bringing us lasting happiness. And a lot of our corporate programs or the ways that we work or the way that we're trying to build our companies are based on this fundamental principle of I'll be happy when, right? It's I'll be happy when I get the promotion, or I'll be happy when I get the IPO, or I'll be happy. And it's actually, why don't we just be happy now? And that's what meditation teaches us. You know, it's like,
well, I want to say this because I think this is a good place to talk about this, which is your happiness project. So tell us a little bit about, you said you went away. I love this because I think a lot of people can appreciate that when we have very big dreams and very big visions for our lives when we're young, sometimes standing in our own space and having people who knew us when, you know, it feels like we definitely have to get out of here. We have to get away from here so we can go be this big person and live this big life that we know we're destined to live. And you yourself said, you know, then you came back home. And tell us a little bit about what drew you to go back home and what you're creating there in relation to the idea of this eternal happiness that you're talking about.
Yeah, if anyone might remember 2019, 2020, just before the pandemic, there was some really bad bushfires in Australia, the worst in history.
Yes.
And these black bushfires, and my family home, which I'm sitting in right now, was meant to burn down on January 4th, 2020. So living in New York, I was actually I was in Aspen on a shoot, and I flew home basically to help my parents clean up the house, which I thought our childhood home that we grew up in. But when I was flying home, so flying from LA to Sydney, the wind changed direction and our house was spared. But about 12 of our friends and neighbors lost their house on that day. And I know people from California can relate to this with the fires that happened there recently. It's such a shocking and it's such a in your face way to lose something, right? Everything. And I came home and I realized just how much stress was in this community, particularly around the bushfires, but also my town, it faces a lot of challenges. Unemployment's higher, there's drug addiction, there's a lot of domestic violence. And this is similar to a lot of towns in Australia, regional towns and places in America as well, middle America. And so I was already teaching meditation at this stage, and I was like, wow, maybe that there's an opportunity here to actually teach meditation here rather than New York. And being a filmmaker, I was like, what if we made a film about it? What if we followed that journey of me returning back to this town, the fish out of water, the prodigal son returns, or whatever it is, and you start to share this, and can we transform the town through meditation? And that's what we've been filming for the last 3 years, is just this slow, incremental transformation of this end of the line town, end of the train line town.
That's incredible. I think on so many levels, you know, for me, I think our purpose always leaves clues. There's always places in our lives where we're nudged to do, quote unquote, the right thing at the right time based on like what we're meant to be doing as people. I like to say like there's a 1 in 400 quadrillion with a Q, folks, quadrillion chance of you being here. It's not a mistake. It's absolutely on purpose. And so I love to hear these stories when someone comes back to a place within themselves where they're guided to make a difference. And clearly you're doing that. Tell us, what was it like to like open yourself to being, like you said, that prodigal son coming back as someone who's like, I'm here to help and this is how I'm helping. What was that journey like for you as well?
Yeah, firstly, I think like the reason why we connect with these stories is I actually think this is part of our soul's journey, right? Our soul has a journey and it goes out, it learns a lesson, and then it comes back and it returns with the knowledge. And that's like this cycle of life that we go through. So I think there's some resonance there with people. And there's also, for me, it was very hard to leave New York City. I was we'd worked really hard for about 7 years on our convicts project, and it was really finally getting to a point where we could pay ourselves. I know all founders can relate to that at that point. And I had a life there. I had some social status. Everything was going really well. And so I moved back. I was also single as well. Moving back to a town there's a lot of the people I went to school with or my age already have kids and are married and have a house. So I was very much entering the stream at a different pace. So there's those things where there is something that you have to give up. I had to give up that lifestyle and let go of everything that I was trying to achieve there. And so it was very humbling in a way. Move back in with my parents, get to know them again and that kind of thing. It was all those things. But what I've really loved and respected is that the people of my town have really embraced this. And there is a certain essence that when you return somewhere, it validates and verifies people's own to stay as well. Oh, he went away to New York and now he's back in here, so it must be pretty good, that kind of thing. It is good. It's beautiful. There's nature. There's authentic people. And I love it. I love it so much more than living in a big city now. Yeah, it's all worked out, but it is scary to take that leap when you have the comfort and you've worked so hard to build something.
I love that. So tell us, so the project itself, you're doing this documentary. What is your goal? What is your hope of the documentary itself? Like, what are you hoping to change or bring out in the world by doing this work?
Yeah, so there's this science and research into collective behavior, and it says that it's the few that lead the many. And we know this exists in nature in many places. For example, in our heart, we have what are called pacemaker cells. About 1% of our heart is made up of certain cells that keep the rest of the heart in pace. In nature, when you see swallows flying around, about 1% of those swallows are actually leading the rest of the swallows in those beautiful patterns. And there's this research that says that if you can get 1% of a cohort or a geographic location meditating, that it can actually have a seismic ripple effect throughout the whole collective consciousness. And so my project has been, can we teach 1% of Nowra to meditate? And it's not that many. The population of Nowra is actually only about 25,000. That's my hometown. And so 250 people regularly, daily practicing meditation has been my goal. And I've been teaching, and that number includes people who learnt and then haven't been meditating. So I've got to get a bit more than 250. But we're moving towards that direction of getting to 1% and then measuring, working with a university to see whether does anything change in the town? Do the crime rates go down? Does the motor vehicle accidents, does hospitalizations go down? Can this kind of intervention have an effect? And so that's what we've been testing, measuring, and I've been just teaching for the last 3 years, and it's working.
As a parent myself, as a woman entrepreneur, for 30 years, I know that I have met with and spoken to so many women who are definitely watering the leaves, as you said, and not the roots. And it's so great to return to that. I think not only for me, it's like the spiritual, psychic side of tapping into our roots, but I love this idea of like, what is the practice that you're using to really deepen that rest inside of those roots as well. But I also instantly, funnily enough, could feel all of those women thinking, and here's what I'm just going to challenge you back, Barron. Like, I don't have time to rest. Like, that's got to be the first kind of thing. What do you say to that? I don't have time to rest. I've got so much.
It's the number one question and the number one pushback I get is I don't have time to rest. And I say that every single person has time to meditate. What we have is a priority issue. That actually, it's what are we prioritizing? And the first thing I do is I ask people to open their phone and show me their screen time.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. It's coming for your phone. It's watch out. Okay.
And I can guarantee, if you look at that, you can find 20 minutes in your day, 20 minutes twice a day. And the other thing that I teach people is that this practice, it actually buys you more time in your day. So if you take 20 minutes to rest deeply, what happens is we release stress, we clear our mind. And so when we come out of that, we're able to move with more efficiency, more effectiveness. We're able to think clearer. We have more energy. We're happier. And when all of those things happen, we just get our stuff done quicker. There's a famous quote by Gandhi, and he said, "I was so busy today, I meditated for 2 hours instead of 1." And it's
I
that
love it.
same idea, right? It's
Right.
like if we prioritize this, we actually can be more effective. And this is why top level CEOs, athletes, high performing people in the music and entertainment industry, it's all their secret. They all meditate. And I can tell that. I know so many meditators who are just they're closet meditators. They don't tell anyone. They just plug in, they do their 20 minutes twice a day, and then they're out there and they're household names. And
Right.
it is a secret of success, I think.
I would agree absolutely. And I find that it's interesting you said that too, because, one of the beauties of, be doing the work of like healing and creating that goes so hand in hand is the idea that, yes, we need to come from source. We need to come from a served place. I like to say, people will say, you need to fill your own cup. And I like to say, no, you need to plug in to the water faucet, right? You need to have an overflowing cup to really give as much as you are, deciding you want to give or make or do in the world. And so, yeah, absolutely tapping in and meditating and yes, doing it as a practice, but also knowing that in doing it, you are not doing it in a rush, but doing it deeply. I love that idea as well. So tell me, this is the fun part of our call that I have with everyone, which is, as you are doing all this amazing work and you're working on your documentary and working on and adding healing into your space there in your corner of the world, how can I support you? What is a thought or idea or question you might have that you would like to ask the Oracle about what you're up to and doing next?
Yeah, all that business stuff is great and the film and the documentary, but I don't know if I told you this, but I am expecting my partner's about to have a baby in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh
So
my God.
I guess as a mother and an oracle, yeah, I would love if there's anything that's coming to you intuitively or anything that you can help to guide me in that direction as I step into my first child, step into this new role as a father.
First and foremost, congratulations. I'm so happy for you and your wife, partner. It's interesting as you're talking about that. I think the thing that comes through right now from O is about fatherhood, that there's a place for you now to move into a softness and a strength. So there's this, she's showing me like, this is going to bring out a lot of your need to be strong as a man. And there's a part of me that's kind of shirking that, like, oh, that word, but there's this male energy coming through, maybe a sense of the protector energy that's going to be balancing out the softness that you are. So not to shy away from that, but to kind of be about integration of the soft and the masculine. For you right now, it's interesting. She's showing me this rock, right? The boundary of the rock, like this place in you that becomes solid and firm and the foundation of your family. So you're going to be growing into that space even deeper and not to shy away from any part of that might in the past have made you think of being overly masculine, but that there's like a bigger, harder, solid piece of that pie coming forward to you. Yeah. How does that land for you? Is that something that is pointing to anything inside of you right now?
Yeah. As any new parent knows, you're stepping into a complete unknown, don't know what to expect. And I think that, yeah, we'll find new shades of ourselves and new parts of it. But I do like that idea of staying grounded, staying that rock for the family. Yeah, I definitely resonate with that and be that support role, as mothers are amazing. And what my fiance has been going through with her body, and it's just such an incredible journey, and just in awe of that and in my steadiness.
Yes. And that's the beauty of it. Like you're such a, like I can see now, and of course in our conversations, that you're such a soft, kind energy, but this is like that deeper resonance of like protection and honor. And I'm getting the full oracle chills. It's like she literally is showing me like this really beautiful stone. It's like ancient, that kind of ancient strength that you're going to draw on as you move forward. So I'm excited for you and for your family. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah. So tell me and tell everybody now that you're doing this, like how can they find out more about what you are ending up doing next with your business and with the film and all of that?
Yeah, so the project is called Be Here Nowra. So if anyone knows Ram Dass' famous book Be Here Now, it's a play on that. Be Here Now. Nowra is the town that I'm from. You can check us out on Instagram. You can follow us, check out the website beherenowra.com. We will continue to work on the documentary. We're in the editing stage now, so it's being cut, which is very exciting. We're looking for a distributor. So if anyone's out there listening anyone works for Netflix out there or Amazon or Hulu and wants to buy a great documentary, we're currently looking for distributors. And yeah, I'm going to continue to teach meditation. It is I think the foundation of everything that I do. And I think it is the number one thing that people can do to improve their own health, improve their family, work on their community, and give back to the planet as well. And you said a really beautiful thing about filling your cup up first. And I actually think what meditation does, instead of trying to add more to the cup, it makes our cup bigger. It expands. And when our consciousness expands, we can put more in and we can do more. And I see that with so many people who meditate. And my other ask is if anyone, and you especially, is if you want to come down to Australia, come visit us. After this podcast, you're going to be very popular in Australia.
Oh, wonderful. Well, then there you go. Maybe I have to do a live in Australia. That would be fun. I love it.
Have to get you down under.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It's on the list. Now, again, it's the second time. So that means there's only one more time before it happens. Thank you so much, Barron, for being here. For those of you who are watching, please remember to subscribe below so you can keep coming back and hearing about these amazing entrepreneurs and founders who are out there doing wonderful things. Learn, hopefully get some tips for yourself so you can actually keep doing your work. That's the whole point. We want you to feel filled up and overflowing so that you can actually do the work that you're meant to do in the world. Thanks so much for watching. Again, my name is Leah Dunlap. I am known as the Oracle on Purpose, and this is the Oracle on Purpose podcast. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.